Welcome to the Crafty boys and girls. It's the last show before Christmas Eve, and just want to put it out there that Crafty Land is a thing, and of course, Crafty Land is also approved by Greta. So, how else do you open the show if you can't have Greta? Then you got nothing. This show we talk about beer and drink beer and talk about beer and talk about other stuff. So there, oh God.
Start over.
Wow. So anyway, I'm a little tired. So anyway, moving on. How is it going, boys?
Tired.
How does this show run? I think Locke has got a really impressive array going on there. So I think we should start with him. Locke, apparently you're going to the moon.
I'm being Roger Waters, and I'm building the wall.
Nice.
What I have here is Moonshot. It is a double IPA from the Left Field Brewery. We've done some Left Field before, I think. And this is their double IPA. The graphic on the back, if you take a look, you can see at the very bottom of that long panel there, there's a little baseball diamond, and the ball is going up from the baseball diamond around the moon and back towards Earth.
I don't know that is physically possible.
Yeah, I doubt very seriously that it is. But that's what they've depicted on the can. So we'll see. We'll see if the beverage inside is anything like that.
Okay.
They actually did use that in Star Trek. That's how they said
it. I suspect that's probably meant to read "keep cool and drink fresh," but "keep drinking cool fresh" sounds better. Check bottom for freshness. If you walked up to somebody and said, "Check bottom for freshness," they might look at you funny.
They might even slap you.
Okay.
Apparently, it was packaged on the 17th of November, 2021. So that's some pretty decent freshness dating. This has a whole arm of list of ingredients here. We have malted barley, malted oats, malted wheat, and hops and yeast. They actually mentioned the yeast. Nice of them. The featured hops are Cryopop and Eldorado, and their ballpark pairing is Korean-style fried chicken.
I don't know if I've ever seen that for sale at a ballpark.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be a Toronto thing. I've never actually seen it myself, but
maybe the Blue Jays sell that.
Could be. Or maybe it's the sort of thing where they expect that people are just going to kind of bring their own.
Well, isn't that the way?
Well,
hey, Moonshot, it's the way.
The other thing I will point out to you, the tin, it is a silver tin with the stuck-on plastic label, indicating that this too is one of those products that gets done by the mobile canning line here in town, which is a fairly strong indication of craftiness.
Nice.
It's not a style that I'm in love with, as you know. This is sort of your hazy double IPA, but I got to say the finish on it is all but invisible. It's like kind of one of those infinity pools where it just kind of drops right off. This is refreshing and quaffable, which at 8% is dangerous. This is all kinds of fun.
Well, I mean that's the way the beer gets chosen around here.
Mm.
I'm gonna jump over to you, Alan. What are you drinking tonight? Because we were trying to get the same thing, but it just didn't work out. So what
It
did you
didn't
find?
work out, but I did get something else. Now we've done this on the show before, but we really enjoyed it. It's been a couple of years, so I thought I'd get it again anyway.
Okay.
So it's from Bridge Brewing. It is their Santa's Sack,
Really? Okay.
which is
Yeah, it's been a couple of years. Yeah.
Golden Strong Ale, brewed with North Shore water, Pilsner malt, dextrine malt, acidulated malt, caramel Vienna malt, pearl hops, and Belgian yeast. Clocks in at 10%.
Ooh.
Alcohol by volume is 30 IBUs.
Was that a picture of Santa grabbing a sack?
Well, no, it's just a picture of Santa with his sack in front of him.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
It's drawn a certain way.
Yeah,
yes.
it's-
But you can
front of him,
use
yeah.
your own imagination
Yeah, I
to
see.
determine if the sack is attached to him or not. This is what it looks like in the glass. It just looks like unfiltered, kind of like an ale. Aromas, you got strong sort of banana aromas here, but nothing like that in the flavor. The flavor is very spicy.
It's like a cinnamon, you mean?
Almost like cloves is what I'm getting. Fruitiness that I can't put my finger on. Spiciness. It's a very sort of like warming beer. It's perfect for the winter. This is a really enjoyable beer. It's not quaffable. Like I could not chug this if I tried. But it is still very enjoyable. For you would have one. I was thinking about having it on Christmas Eve, but what the hell, I'll do it tonight. So yeah, great beer. If you can find it, pick it up. It's only out for a little while. Bridge makes another Christmas themed beer, but that one's very pedestrian compared to Santa's Sack. So I recommend getting the Santa's Sack.
And that's
Yeah, the other
bridged?
one isn't the other one Grinch? I can't remember.
Yeah,
Is
it
the-
is.
Okay.
But I don't remember the style, but there was nothing sort of special about it. It was nothing to write home about. It's a lot cheaper than Santa's Sack. I'll give it that. But if you're looking for something that's different, that's wintry, you want to go with the Santa's Sack.
Right.
Alan, did you
All
say
right.
it's bridge?
Yes, it is Bridge Brewing, which is in North Vancouver, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, Bridge Brewing is I think they still
Vancouver.
refer to themselves as a nano brewery in North Van. But anyway, moving on a little bit here to our current holder of soda and stuff.
Uh-huh.
What soda? Why am I calling it a soda? We're Canadian. Oh, the big chunk off the rail. Peanut
Try
butter brownie.
Try
What?
that.
Brownie porter. What is this beer?
Yes.
What is going on? The world has changed.
It might be weird. It might be weird. We'll find out. It's gorgeous. The head was really nice.
Is it called the
Spears.
big chunk or the chunk?
Big chunk? Yeah, big chunk.
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 Wow.
And it's from Off the Rail, right?
It is off the rails, yeah.
I have to find this.
I grabbed it at Cascadia Eagle Creek.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess where I'm going tomorrow.
Yeah. That's tasty. It's not, I mean, as is usual. Does it really taste like peanut butter brownie? No. But you can taste some peanut butter and you can get a sense of brownie as well, I say. And
Okay.
A sense of brownie.
a sense of brownie. Like it's a sense of brownie. I guess a little bit of chocolate maybe is the best way to put it. A bit of chocolate going on.
Yep.
And there's a little peanut butteriness. It's
Right.
nice and smooth. It's really smooth,
Okay.
which I guess it's kind of classic for porter, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But
What's the sweetness level on it?
you're talking to the wrong guy, Alan, because I know you're like beer is beer, and I like sweet stuff. For me, this is going to be, I guess, kind of medium sweet, I guess.
Medium sweet.
Yeah. So,
So-
it's definitely sweeter. It's on the sweeter side.
Did you had the Uncle Nutty with us?
No,
from Dead
I
Frog,
don't think
right?
I did have the
You
nutty
didn't.
uncle. I don't
You
think
haven't-
I had that.
If you haven't, you need to have it because it is one of the absolute few beers that tastes like it's advertised. You know, we get beer that's supposed to be flavored by like some magical fairy dust, and it's supposed to taste like a pug's butt or something, and we're expecting to taste a pug's butt. We're forgiving because if you get a hint of chocolate or a hint of something that's supposed to be in it, then you can kind of go, yeah, it's all right. But the Nutty Uncle, is it the Nutty Uncle Dunkle? Is that what it's called?
No, it's called.
I think.
Uncle Dunkle is, I think, what.
Yeah, so there's
Something like
Creepy
that.
Uncle. That's a different one. That's
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's by Moon Underwater. This one's called Uncle Nutty,
Right.
which is a peanut butter stout from.
And it tastes like you're jamming peanut butter into your face.
Nice. I can get
with
behind
a
that.
hint of chocolate. Like it actually tastes like what they proclaim it's supposed to taste like, which
Nice.
I don't mind at all. I think it's like the most successful flavored beer that's out there. In term for the holiday season, I'm not going to just claim that it tastes like something. It tastes like an elf's candy cane, and it's great.
Does it say on the tin that it's flavored beer?
Actually, I don't think so.
What, Uncle Nutty?
You see,
It must.
Oh yeah, yeah. It says it's peanut butter it's a peanut butter stout.
I see. Yeah. Well, but I mean, does that mean that they put peanut butter flavoring, like essence of peanut butter, in there, or did they put peanut butter in there?
I don't remember. It's been
It's been a year since I've had it. So
Okay,
I've been a loyal purchaser for like about 3 years now.
I
so.
don't want to hijack Dave's review here on Chonk, the Big Chonk.
The Big Chonk.
So I will come back to you, but I did have one of this year's Uncle Nutties maybe a couple weeks ago. Sorely disappointed.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, it did not taste like peanut butter at all.
Oh no, the batch has been changed or failed, or
they've changed it. They've reduced the amount of flavor in it. I mean, maybe it was just me. Maybe my palate just wasn't on that night. But that was just 2 weeks ago.
That's sad to hear. I mean,
so
I, yeah.
What's in the beer that you're drinking? The chunk there. Do you have an ingredient?
Yeah.
All right. Give me one moment here. Okay, ingredients: water, malted barley, hops, yeast, lactose, natural flavors, which could be anything. I guess maybe the lactose would be the smoothness, wouldn't it?
Yes,
could be. And the
A lot of virgins.
Maybe I was onto something when I was imagining that there's something out there called essence of peanut butter.
There you go.
Yeah.
I suppose we could hope.
So, what do you think, Dave?
I like it.
What's it like? Yeah.
It's I mean, like I said, it's not. You can't argue. It's like drinking peanut butter chocolate brownie, but it's nice, and it's got a coffee. That's what I want to say. It's got some coffee going on as well. So I don't know if maybe because that seems to be pretty common. Coffee, chocolate kind of flavors.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
it's
this is
like
this is I think reaffirming both what I and what Ellen was saying last week about brewing and its relationship with baking. On the one hand,
yeah.
because brewing is like baking in that you're taking yeast and applying it to grains. But on the other hand, it's also an area of challenge and of sort of, can you get a really convincing match to something that's a well-known baking idea in a beer?
Yeah.
And so what you're saying is that this is brownie-ish, but you're not quite sold that it's a peanut butter brownie.
No. No, I don't know. Maybe, like I've always said, I'm not a real beer drinker, right? So
Yeah.
for me, it's like, what am I expecting? I don't know.
Well, but this is the thing. I mean, if you need somebody to expect something in order for it to succeed, I mean, like I don't think that's a fair test.
I didn't want to show that one.
If you're claiming to put a product on the market that is so, like the one I had the other night, which was the sour cherry pie, the fact that it had both the biscuitiness of pie crust as well as a convincingly cherryish flavor that it achieved, from what I can tell, mostly from a soured malt or whatever. That's a kind of a cool trick.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess my argument is always my palate's not very developed, right? Because I haven't had a whole lot of different styles of beer, a whole lot of different flavors.
But to be fair, you have had a peanut butter brownie before.
Yes.
Okay, you had to think about that. Now I'm starting to wonder if you're a reasonably experienced authority on what the flavor of a peanut butter brownie is.
Well, that's true, but I guess I'm kind of making a distinction, right, between
I've had beer before.
The real deal. Yeah, well, the real deal, like a peanut butter brownie, chowing down on it, as opposed to you got this liquid stuff here, which is supposed to have the flavor of, right? And I think somebody whose palate is more developed, I would argue, picks up the nuances more. That's what I'm saying, right? Like, each of you guys definitely has more experience with it. Julian, more experience with it, even done some brewing, all that kind of stuff, right? So just more sense of what's possible in beer, what you're expecting in beer, I guess, is more, what am I trying to say? You're more familiar with that. Put it that way.
And possibly also peanut butter brownies too for the summer.
Hey.
If you've never had a peanut butter brownie, sir, you're not going to be familiar with this beer. So I please implore you to drink water and nothing else. It's my turn. I'm going to tell you all about this beer that I picked up today at the beer store. It is called Michelob Ultra, and we're going to try it here tonight. Or not. The real beer I picked up is called, I picked this up last week. It's called the Munich Dunkle. It is by R&B Brewing, which is about 4 or 5 blocks from here. Cool. And they are, I had never seen this particular can before, so I don't know what this is really, other than it is a beer at rocking in at 6.5% alcohol by volume. And that's about all I know. And the peanut gallery is not here, so I'm going to drink more of it.
Excellent.
This is going to go really well. Let me actually, before I continue, let me grab the old aged reading glasses to make sure there's nothing on the can that I missed. Oh, here we go. The Munich Dunkle. Get ready, boys. Get ready. This is a story. Our Munich Dunkle is a traditional German-style dark lager with a rich malt flavor, leading with notes of chocolate and nuts alongside... I'm 12. Alongside toasty malt, this beer is rich enough for the cold months of the year and has a smooth finish that is characteristic of the style. So there you go. Store cold, drink fresh. R&B Brewing. So
What a
overall,
story.
I know it was quite the
Read
story.
it
there.
again. Read it again.
Do you want to read it again?
No.
There's no
No.
new chapters. All right, so it smells like beer. Now, a Dunkel is supposed to be sort of on the sweet side. You can kind of smell it a little bit. The lacing on this particular glass sucks. It's not great, but I'm not too concerned about that. Here we go. Oh. That doesn't taste like beer at all. That is in Guinness territory. Because to me, Guinness doesn't taste like beer. It tastes like Guinness, but nothing tastes like Guinness. That at least I have found. It's very rare that you find something that tastes exactly like it. So, I'm just so glad the peanut gallery is not here. Damn it! There you go.
Hand it out.
She came home. But overall, it doesn't have really an aftertaste. It kind of tastes like
Beer.
if I were to pick any one thing, it tastes like nuts. Like, you've got some sort of a bunch of different nuts that have been, roasted together. That's sort of the thing I'm getting. It's not bad. It's not like, oh, this beer is so great. But it is a strong beer. I highly recommend it. If you can find it, it's worth a try.
What's the texture like?
Well, it's lager texture. Like I think this is what's throwing me is I was expecting to taste a heavier beer, like a heavier malt, but it is lager, so it does have that. Across the street from us is Red Truck, as you all know, and they every so often will they release a dark lager, usually around this time of year, but they haven't this year. They've actually released a few that I tried the other day, which is quite nice, like really dark, thick sort of things, but it definitely has that lightness of lager. Like it's not overpowering. It's got a very nice sort of light mouthfeel, and I'm quite pleased with it. The aftertaste is actually not bad. It's very mild, not noticeable at all. So sometimes you get those lagers that really kind of stick with you, like Michelob Ultra, which I've never had and never will. But somebody did write into the show and said, "Hey, could you please make a crack about Michelob Ultra tonight?" And there you go. Job done. Because they said it was their favorite beer ever. Because they like to go golfing and whatnot. So, overall, R&B Brewing has not disappointed me in a long time. So they are doing some really great stuff.
Nice.
Alan is apparently staring at Santa Claus, and there you go. What are you staring at?
Oh, it's just, I saw a body coming this way, but I'm blinded by my light right here. So.
So like this weird shape. So suddenly if there's a loud noise and you scream and hit the floor, then we'll know what's going on.
Have you ever seen the movie Contact? when Arrowway finally goes and she's on that beach, that figure just kind of like morphs out of the atmosphere into so it was kind of like that.
But overall, I gotta say that I've enjoyed a lot of the stuff that tonight. Actually, we've had a pretty strong showing for a lot of the different beer. Do you guys agree? Or
yeah, no, I think we've lucked out in this sort of late December, end of year sort of place that we find ourselves. It sounds like we've got some fairly tasty beer.
I think so.
I have no problem with that at all. So let's talk about the world and what's going on. Welcome to
that's
the
on fire.
the fifth wave, as it were. What do you guys think?
Well, so everybody's been sort of analogizing what's going on with the Spanish flu, and the difference it would appear right now includes that the Spanish flu came on the tail of a gruesome and bloody global war, and where this is different, our pandemic has, from the apparent look of things, found itself at the beginning of one. What do you think is going on in the Ukraine? Do you think that's going to turn into a complete?
Yeah, I'm actually quite concerned about that because when was it? What, 3 years ago with Crimea?
Got nowhere to retreat. We all understand.
No, this is true, but Crimea had the same problem, right? They're on a peninsula and away they went. So, for those who don't know what Block is talking about, there have been some news coverage. There's been some news coverage, but I think it's been overshadowed by the COVID fifth wave that's hitting us now with this new variant. But the Russian military is building up a lot on the border of the Ukraine, and the last time this happened, about 4 years ago, I want to say 4 years ago, something like that. They just rolled over the border and basically took over a sovereign country, and no one did jack about it because really no one can do jack about it anyway, ultimately, unless you really want to go to war. So yeah, but I mean, the problem is I think ultimately, in my very little bit of knowledge that I have about it, is that this is probably the time for them to do it. Not that I want them to, but a lot of the eyes of the international military complex are pointed at Taiwan right now. And with the South China Sea being basically annexed by China, to the point where they're just saying that we don't care if you have this 200 nautical mile limit off your countries, Vietnam and Indonesia, etc. They don't care. They're sinking, like they sink fishermen's boats because they can, and no one is saying bad Russia, and Russia's like, fuck you, we don't care. And I mean,
the seas are actually a lot more lawless than is generally acknowledged by the land British public. I saw an absolutely terrifying documentary series where a Canadian actually came across some found footage and just wanted to find out what the fuck he was looking at. And what it was a bunch of people out in the water, like they somehow fallen out of a boat, needing to be rescued, and then somebody with an AK-47 fucking taking shots at them and picking them off. What is this?
Whoa.
And so he chases it down, and I don't want to spoil it. If you can find it, The World's Lawless Oceans or something like that. If you look it up, you can probably find it. But what it reveals is a situation that isn't sort of generally acknowledged in the press or by anybody really, which is that when you're out at sea, shit happens, and there really isn't any. I mean, international law is unenforced and probably unenforceable. So, Somali pirates are not really a new development, and probably, we're going to see more of the same for as long as boats exist. So,
Well, I mean, the other thing too is that it doesn't forgive the actions based on whatever you want to say about it. But there's definitely places around the world that, I mean, you mentioned Somalia, and Somalia has been basically, as a country, has been kicked in the teeth so many times over the last 30 years or so,
Mm.
by a variety of different reasons. That the whole piracy issue is really about surviving. Like, these individuals, they didn't wake up one morning and go, I would like to be a pirate on the ocean and attack small vessels and take them over and kill people. No, I don't think they should be doing that. But again, one of the most lucrative things there is to
Yeah.
take people hostage and then, say, hey, company X, we've got 5 of your employees.
It doesn't
pay us some money, we'll let them go.
It doesn't radically change human behavior, but what it does afford is a situation where, because you're on the sea and not on land, you can't very well set up encampments. Being entrenched doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? Like, you might say the situation is more fluid.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, there's a channel on YouTube that I have watched a few of their videos. I mean, they're 5-10 minutes long, but essentially they're like mini documentaries about different shipping liners going through off of the coast, through the Red Sea, off of the coast of Somalia, and they're basically hiring ex-military people to sit there, and if these boats charge their ships, because basically what happens is these long boats, that are probably used for fishing normally, are outfitted with a fairly decent motor, and then like 10 guys get into these boats and they basically rush your ship and then climb up with ladders or whatever they use to climb up with, and they point a gun at you and say,
it's all very Howard Kyle, if you ask me.
Yeah, and so some of these liners that are shipping goods of all kinds, and oil or whatever, because it's usually, I mean,
oil or tanks that nobody claims to have bought.
Yeah, exactly. And basically, so they have these dudes. They put sandbags up on these porch, and they up on the porch on the side of the ship. And if these small boats, they do shoot at them a little bit to say, please don't come here. And if they do, they just open up with like large cannons and take these poor little boats out and rip these poor people to shreds. But it's a weird. I mean, but here's the thing: the whole reason of me sort of ranting about this a little bit is that it kind of makes you realize that there are places on this planet, a lot of them, where the rule of law doesn't exist. It's all about survival, and then I watch Christmas movies around this time of year, and I watched a new Christmas movie that was released on Netflix recently, and it was just a nothing, two people go to pretend they're married or something, and then they decide they love each other and whatever. Typical Christmas fare. But I could not help but sit there and criticize these characters that they have no idea what survival really means, because they're talking about survival of Christmas and la da 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 da. And it just popped into my mind partway through this film, like, if I threw you into the middle of the woods with a pissed off moose, all my money's betting on the moose. There's no way you'll survive. Like, you'll never get away. You'll not fight for your own survival. You're just going to let this moose roll over you because you're expecting a certain rule of law to exist that, when you go to the mall, if somebody attacks you, though, other people will hopefully say, hey, don't do the attacking thing. And then it was a weird thought, but it kind of made me laugh, and I decided to turn the movie off. So there you
go. It's why people in other countries hate the Western cultures.
What? Because they won't survive a moose attack?
What Western cultures look at. I'm with the British. I'm with the the Western Europeans generally, but with less so France, and maybe not a whole lot really Spain. But that said, I don't see. I mean, what affinity do I have with the United States? If by Western culture we're talking about, Australia, which is sort of south, and that's west, and it's so far west that it might also be east.
Australia in general, I could see that, sure.
I don't know. I mean, is there really a West anymore, though?
No, I don't think so. I think
on the internet, what does that actually mean?
I think Western culture, it basically means developed nations.
Developed nations, including Japan. Japan would be part of the West, no? Yeah.
I would think so. So any kind of culture where it's consumption based, free enterprise kind of thing, where we seem to have a messed up sense of what survival means and what it means, what hardship means.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, ultimately, what survival means is using oil to put sea cans all over the planet with stuff in them. That's what survival means.
Yeah. Well, see, like a hardship for us is waking up on Saturday morning to discover that we're out of coffee. That is a hardship to us here.
Yeah, no, I agree. Actually, that's actually a good way to summarize it. Like, if you don't, wake up, and something very simple to us is a big deal. I remember a few years back watching this, short news segment about, forgotten exactly where they were from. I think it was, I want to say the UK. Like, it was a BBC reporter or something who had heard about a lot of people in Africa were basically boiling grass and surviving on whatever nutrients they could get out of grass from the side of the road, kind of thing. And he wanted to know more. He's like, this is actually a thing. Is this just some sort of stupid internet thing? So he actually he found a family who in Kenya was willing to have him come stay with them. And so he flew there and hung out with them for, I think, just over a month. I think it was like 30 or 40 days. And he was this big, huge, overweight dude from the UK. He shows up and quite literally was eating grass for like 3 or 4 days. They would harvest the grass and then they would boil it and make it into soup and stuff.
Yeah, did it have there was effect on him?
He lost like 20 or 30% of his weight, but he definitely. The reason it popped in my mind is there was this scene where, because his body was just experiencing this for the first time, he was, his body was reacting poorly. So the people, like the camera crew and the people like that were there to document it all, were concerned. So they said, how about we go into town, which was like a 45-minute walk from where these people lived, into whatever town it was, and buy a chicken. And so they bought a chicken, they slaughtered the chicken, they cooked the chicken, and the guy had a little bit of it, and he said, this is like the best thing I've ever tasted. Even though he'd had chicken before, he'd had chicken in a variety of different ways, but he's like, this is the best thing I've ever tasted, which kind of gives you that idea of where his body was at, because it's like, oh my God, this is not grass. But sure enough, yeah, he went through this whole experience, and then brought it to the attention of some sort of NGO, and the NGO came in to help. But it was interesting, just like this very weird, out of the way kind of story. Which brings the argument is that if beer was able to be delivered to everybody on the planet, would hunger disappear?
Well, here's my observation to you, is that if you're trying to get nutrients out of grass, look at the pros. What do the pros do when they're getting nutrients out of grass? What they do is they have several stomachs. And they keep chewing, and they keep chewing, and they chew it again and again and again. And those several stomachs, do we know for sure, is one of those a fermenting stomach? Do cows ferment?
I'm going to go ask the internet because I really don't know. How do cows' stomachs work?
But I have to imagine that if you were fermenting the grass, you'd get more protein out of the situation. Now, the other thing to observe is that apparently chicken can taste better than anything in the whole world. What tastes just like chicken?
Everything
People.
weird.
People
Really?
taste like chicken.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, every time you ask somebody, who's tried cannibalism, what do people taste like? Well, it's sort of like chicken, So yeah.
Well, it's like the Matrix, right? Everything tastes like chicken because the computers didn't know what certain things tasted like. So, it's like, do you ever wonder why everything just tastes like chicken? It's because the computer didn't know what it tasted like, so it just made it taste like chicken.
Side note, apparently that opens today.
Yes, I've got the Crafty Boys Twitter account open here, and our Twitter account with like a bunch of breweries tweeting, and then there's basically nothing but Matrix stuff on the sidebar. It drops today.
Conversation, but
no, it's a very good segue because with COVID exploding again, would anybody here actually go to the movie theater right now?
No, I'm not even. I'm just relieved I got my Christmas shopping done. Yeah, no.
Yeah, well, it is a concern.
So the way things are happening in Ontario right now, anybody can sign up for a shot. Anybody can walk in and attempt to get a walk-in shot. Nobody's taking walk-ins. But I'm told, show up tomorrow. We'll see. They don't know is the answer. So tomorrow I'm going to go and I'll show up and I'll see, and maybe they'll give me a shot and maybe they won't. This is for me. This is a booster shot, right? I've already have either 2 vaccines. So yeah, in terms of what I guess they were expecting in terms of uptake for a booster shot, they were thinking that maybe some people would, and part of it is these anti-vaxxer nuts have taken to, because it's such an emotional issue, taking to picketing the private homes of individuals in the government involved in health policy.
Yeah, I saw that somebody had their house tagged yesterday or this morning.
Right, yeah, because
in Ontario,
that shows that you're really the adult in the room. Like all these people trying to get you vaccinated, they're all crazy. They're nuts. They've gone off the rails. No, we're the ones throwing fucking paint bombs and shit at people. Being like, I don't know. Why are you making people get vaccinated? I don't understand. Why?
I'm actually kind of curious if there were anti-vaxxers like they are now back during the Spanish flu.
I don't think so.
No?
Because they didn't have the internet back then.
No,
well, this is true.
No, but back then religion was still real.
That's a good point. Where you could go to church, and if your pastor / priest, whatever, said go get vaccinated,
jihadist fucking crazy person. I mean, nobody actually believes any of it's real. They're just doing it out of bitterness and hate. You know what I mean? Like back then, people actually believed that shit might. Well, maybe it could be real.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fascinating. I mean, I was watching or reading about different common things that are floating around the Facebook world right now. And I was the one thing I found really disappointing is that of the conspiracy theory / whatever the heck it really was about, there was really no penmanship. There was no graphic design expertise. It's all really poorly done. And I'm like, if you're trying to convince somebody that what you believe to be true is indeed true, make some effort, man. Don't go to like it.
That would involve some basic level of observing ego. Like we're not talking about those sort of high achievers here, are we?
Is it really that hard to employ a spell checker? I mean, really?
Oh, you do wonder, don't you? But
yeah.
Just want to point out that we have somebody in the chat all of a sudden. Harry LeBerry. Hello, Harry. How's it going, man? I hope you're having fun today and are listening to our rants about all kinds of weird stuff. But yeah, I mean, I just felt that if I receive, it's like when you receive an email from a Nigerian prince, you receive it and you read them and you're like, there's a lot of typos. They haven't spelled a bunch of things right. To me, that right away, your brain goes, it's probably not who they say they are. This is probably not true.
Well, have you guys heard the theory that that's on purpose? Because if you twig to it, they don't want you. They don't want you because they know you're too smart. If you don't twig to it, then you're their person, because obviously you ain't got the smarts to think through the process of what's really going on. So
is that's filtering effectively.
Right.
Yeah, no,
I'm not saying this is true.
Actually, no, you're making actually a fairly elegant observation regarding the nature of communications.
Hey, it's just something I've heard. Like I don't even know. It could be like fifth hand or something. I've just kind of heard that's, supposedly the theory behind it. This kind of social engineering,
Yeah.
That is true. The whole, the social engineering thing is actually really powerful, and it's one of the things that I've done, because a couple of years ago I was one of the victims of the Desjardins. They called it a hack, but it really wasn't. It was actually one of their employees was just being a douchebag, and was actually selling stuff to a bunch of people that were basically using it to buy things at stores and things. So it was unfortunate.
What was it, Shane? I didn't. If I heard about
essentially,
it,
oh my lord, we have a few other in here. Hey. The problem was that Desjardins had a rogue employee. The employee was was selling information to a third party, scammers or whatever you want to call them, fraudsters. And so, for example, I got a phone call from Desjardins say, hey, by the way, we've had all these charges all of a sudden, and are you in Montreal? And I said, I am not in Montreal. I am not. I don't know why you think that. And they said, oh, well, we'll just reverse all those charges. And I said, great, thank you so much for that. But in that process, I said, I'd like to also get a new card. And they sent one out. And I waited. This is actually, I think, Christmas of 2019 or 2018, something like that.
So is this like a patio furniture store?
Desjardins? No, it's a credit card company. It's a financial institution in Quebec. And a whole bunch of the credit unions in the country use them as their credit card service provider.
Gotcha. All right.
So anyway, basically what happened is that my card didn't show up, and within a couple of weeks, and so I called them. Sorry, I just saw this in the chat. Hello, Polar Knights. Yeah, it is. It's actually very true. It's very true right now. It's I kind of I needed some off the top. I haven't actually had a proper straight razor for a few years. But anyway,
straight razor?
But anyway, so
I've gone. Not me personally.
Razor with a strap and everything.
With the strap and the whole thing. Yeah, I actually went and have had it done.
Ew.
I didn't do it myself. My God, that would just be stupid. No, but I actually went to a barber in town, and they did the whole thing. And they gave you bourbon as well, which is probably the reason I went.
Oh, that's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's called, I think, if anyone wants to know, it's in Gastown. I believe it's called Fortnight, like Fort, but KNIGHT, something like that. Anyway, totally recommend bourbon.
I would, even if somebody else was using that thing, I would be still like nervous as all hell. because I'd be afraid like I'd move suddenly or like maybe jerk or something, and it's like got your jugular.
Exactly.
You're
I
dead.
hear you've been mouthing off about the dawn on the internet. Yeah, that would be bad. But yeah, I have to say one thing about that type of shave. You got the hot towel thing goes on first, then they come in. It's really fast. Like I sit here with my beard trimmer. It takes like 10 minutes for me to actually get things to where I want them. But the twice. I think I've had it done twice. They come in, it's like, and you're done, and it's like, oh, okay, my face is suddenly completely shorn. But totally worth doing it once in a while. But I prefer
really
the rugged beauty of my facial hair. Sorry.
Apparently, it's really luxurious. Like the shave is unbeatable, supposedly.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm aware, there's nothing that even comes close to how it actually, how the.
Would you ever give
You
a
see what I did
negative? Would you ever give a negative review though? Because if you went back,
The barber on the corner of 10th and Main was such an asshole, and boy, I will never go back there. I certainly hope they die in a fire. Yeah, and then you walk in forgetting you'd been an asshole on the internet, and it's like, are you Jeremiah 412? Why are you looking at me that way?
I just like
it's true
over here.
But yeah, I mean, I've only done it for like events. Like there was actually an event happening. I think one of them was a wedding, and then one was something else. So I actually went there for an event. It wasn't like I just walked in one day and said, "I'd like to have a shave, please." Mainly because my skin hates shaving, so this is why I just keep this rocking it. So if I even, it doesn't matter. Like no matter what kind of device I've used, like the little round ones or any other kind of shaving thing.
I have perma stubble. So
yeah,
because I'm bald up here, I kind of feel like I need to have something down here to sort of. I can't be bald everywhere.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. So I gotta have something down here. And you know what? Let's be clear. I have, and I'm okay with it. I have a weak chin. Okay. So I need something here to sort of like give me a little bit of sort of like muscle.
Gotta be shit.
I need muscle definition. My facial hair really does that for my face.
Yeah.
It's okay. I can see that.
That's almost a Joker chin, man. What are you talking about?
It's a pretty strong. I mean, like look at Locke though. Like he's got a really strong chin there. And
yeah, that's not chin. That's a lot of that's beard.
It looks amazing anyway.
No.
But what's your excuse, Dave?
Well, we weren't going to go there. Thank you. I have actually tried beardness, and it sucked. It was very uncomfortable. So I'm like, nope, this is.
Oh, it definitely, like, you can tell that my brain is starting to not like it because I did pull out the comb and I just keep combing it because it gets frustrating. It's like, oh my god, I really just want it to be in a certain place, but it's too long now.
Right.
But I'll have to. I actually the last time I was in Victoria, I did actually buy a proper shaving kit thing with a nice powerful rate because I've been using like a cheap beard trimmer for a while, and every so often I go, how old is this thing? When will the battery run out? That kind of thing. And so I actually got to plug in one so that I can do it properly and not worry that it's going to run out of battery on me. But yeah. But overall, I got to say, facial hair around the holidays is a good thing. And showering too, bathing sort of takes a back seat. Have you done that where it's like you get to like the 28th and you're like, wow, what smells? Oh, it's me.
You know what I love to do around the holidays? Change my underwear.
Okay, so here's one that I pulled the other day just for good tickle. I had somebody tell me happy holidays, and I turned to them very grave and I says, I don't believe in holidays.
And I would like to wear your skin as a mask.
The poor person must have been like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to offend."
Could you? I mean, could you really imagine like a? Okay, now, okay. I have not been paying attention, but I'm assuming that we're still in the world where people are angry. They feel that they can't say Merry Christmas. Is this the
I
thing
don't
still?
care. Yeah. I mean, go ahead and say it all you want. I mean, like, I don't know I don't know which group I'm less interested in hearing more of. The ones that think that it's terrible that you can't say Merry Christmas anymore, and the ones that believe that you can't say Merry Christmas anymore. Between the two of them, I fucking don't know what they're fucking talking about. Last time I checked, according to what is it? What do they call it? The chart. Right. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Yeah. You can fucking say whatever the fuck you want to say. Shut up or say something. I don't care. But if you want to get angry about it, why don't you at least pick a topic that's worth getting angry about? Fuck me.
It feels like somebody I know recently did their charter exam.
Yeah.
This is the thing, right? Is that you have all the companies and things that are basically trying to not offend people by saying season's greetings, happy holidays, that kind of thing.
Fuckity boo.
That's right. They say that too. But I don't know. To me, it's so silly. I mean, it's like people that actually, it was this morning. I had I opened up Twitter for the first time in a little while, and I opened it up. I was looking at it, and I saw a tweet about something about. I've totally forgotten, because what actually was caught my attention was there was this little notice on the thread of tweets, the conversation that was going on. Now, I've forgotten what the context was. It was probably political, but let me actually upload the image that was provided, and it helped if I actually knew how to upload something. Hang on, bear with me, boys. Here it is. So I saw this, and to me, it was a summary of what is wrong with the internet. So this is the message that was at the very top of the Twitter thread. And it said, heads up, conversations like this can be intense. I'm sure it was something about politics or COVID or whatever. But, don't forget the human behind the screen. And it reminded me of why I don't post that often in a personal sense, because I don't want to be involved in anything where somebody takes offense to whatever, because I don't really care. The online discourse is just a cesspool of bullshit now anyway. There's really no real conversations. But to your point, Locke, about getting angry about the stupidest things, like somebody getting like videos online of people getting pissy because their fries weren't hot enough at McDonald's or something, which I saw recently. And rather than going to the counter and saying, I'm sorry, the fries that I received were on the cold side, could I get a fresh set? The people at the restaurant are most likely going to say, well, yes, of course. That's unacceptable. We should have given you cold French fries. So, problem solved. I would say most of the time, but this guy was just leaning into it, yelling at somebody, screaming at the people that were beside him, like just being angry for no particular reason, which on one level you kind of go, well, it is COVID.
Sorry. How did this end up in the internet? Did he film it or did somebody else?
Oh no, somebody else filmed it. He did not film it. No, it was somebody else. Most of those videos is like somebody going, I have to put this on the internet.
So, so in that situation, though, if you had cold fries, though, would you complain about it? Because here's what I would be afraid of. If I complained about it, said, "Could I have a fresh set of fries, they'd be like, yes, sir, absolutely. We'll get you a fresh set of fries. And they go and get them. And it's like, here you go.
Well, here's the thing, though. If you just walk up and say, dude, the fries that I got with my meal were cold. Can I get a hot set? I would think most often people would be like, oh, Jesus, really? Oh, okay. Oh, here you go. And it wouldn't be a problem. Where if you walk up and go, you bitch, my fries were cold and my dick shriveled up and fell off my body and made my brain act like a 10-year-old child. I'm gonna like throw shit at you. Look at these salt packets. Take that. I need justice. Like, it's one of those things where just like, why? Like, however, I mean, I will acknowledge that maybe this individual had a bad day and whatever, but it doesn't excuse that kind of behavior. But at the same time, I wouldn't be afraid of that sort of retaliation because I wasn't a dick about it. But if I like took my fries, threw them on the floor, pulled off my pants, and defecated on them, yeah, okay, maybe they're going to spit in the new set of fries I get. But just that would not be my first choice, though. I would just calmly say, "Hey, my fries were cold. Could I please have warm fries?" And then I would still fear them, but still.
Well, and you make an excellent point, and it is the holidays, and normally this is the season in which
people get ramped up.
Normally, I used to travel. It's weird. It would have been weird for me to go a full 3 months without being on a plane. But I'm 2 years now without being on a plane. It's the craziest fucking experience of my life in some ways. I don't like it at all. I want to get back on an airplane, but with with the world being the way it is. But the thing is, one thing I learned absolutely as a life lesson from being a constant, air trafficker, you do not fucking get angry at people if you want them to be on your side. You're asking for a favor, and your move is to fucking step in with a fucking right hook. Like, what? How is what?
My fries are cold.
That's not how it works, son. Fuck's sake! Like, a little bit of courtesy.
Yeah, it goes a long way.
For people who work in that industry, they recognize fast who's important to them and who isn't. And if you're the kind of fucking dickhead that's gonna be all fucking ragey and tantrumy, man, you lose your power like fucking that, because you're not the master of that situation. Oh, but you're a paying customer. Oh, yeah. Really? Complain to who?
I am not a fan of that at all.
Oh, why don't you sue them? Yeah, sue them because maybe 3 years from now that'll see court and you can get your $15 back or whatever the fuck it was that this is about, right?
This just reminded me of an experience I had on the plane coming back to Vancouver coming back from New York to Seattle a couple weeks ago. I was on the plane. I was sitting in like row 37 again, like on the window kind of thing, because I prefer the back of the plane. I read somewhere many years ago that if you're in a plane crash, your survivability at the back of the plane is much higher than the people in the front. But anyway, as planes tend to do that into solid objects. But anyway, but the person doing the food service thing was, they were giving out cookies and peanuts or whatever. And they were just doing the typical thing. They walked up the aisle and then came back from the front of the plane. And the lady, I think it was like 2 seats in front of me, she opened up a can of like bubbly water or something, and it just kind of exploded. She hit it and it went, really quickly. Nothing really that tragic happens all the time. And the woman sitting in the aisle seat right beside her says, "I'm going to sue you for that," because she had like, carbonated water spilled on her. And I thought, what the hell? And the woman, when it happened, the flight attendant said, "Oh, sorry about that. That was unusual." And the woman was straight to suing, like right off the bat. And then getting on that flight, the nice people at the front, were now seating section whatever, and then I had one of those things where so and so and so like read off a list of names, and they ask you to come up to the thing, and the guy, when it was my turn, the guy says, "Do you have your vaccination thing?" And he was just kind of a dick, and I said, "Bad day," and he paused for a moment and goes, "Yeah, I guess that kind of sounded dickish, didn't it?" Because it just like came out like, so obviously he was having some sort of issue that day. But I had, because the person that I checked in with, I guess, had messed that up or whatever. But it just, his question was had a tone to it, and I responded in the only way I could think of at the moment was "bad day." And
Sounds
here's
like
my
he really
paper.
changed it though. Like the guy sounds like he really came down.
I think my tone made him recognize that maybe he was kind of being a dick, but I mean, the person in front of him was a very long conversation. I was standing there for like 10 minutes waiting for this dude to sort his crap out. So turned out the guy in front of me had dropped his passports in a bathroom somewhere, and they were trying to figure out how to get it to him, and he was angry about it. And I was like, "Why are you angry about your passport? You lost it, you dick." Anyway, it was very weird. But flying now, 2 weeks later,
Nope. No.
Not really. Not feeling it.
it.
I mean, granted, everybody there is, by the time you get, past the security gate, you're supposed to be fully vaccinated. You're supposed to be have had a test within the previous 3 days.
So,
which doesn't mean a whole lot, but it it gives you some level of comfort. But
on the Omicron front, have any of you had your boosters?
No. In BC, the
What's
latest I've heard is that we might start getting them scheduled in January.
Okay, yeah.
For people that are 18 and up, but for right now, it's I think you have to you're a senior.
So
65 and up.
My mom, who's a senior, has had her booster. As a healthcare worker, I have to register for my booster as a healthcare worker, which I've done. And I am not eligible for my booster until at minimum 6 months after my second dose, we're not at 6 months yet.
Almost. I actually heard that on the news today. Yeah.
Almost.
Alberta reduced it to 5 months, but apparently the way that medically it's recommended for 6 months after.
So I'll probably be getting mine next month sometime.
Mine was my last dose was July 11th, I think. So I think I'm around that cusp now.
I'm sort of there too. Yeah.
But in BC, you have to schedule it, because BC is not as currently bad off as Ontario is in Quebec. Like, holy cow.
Yeah.
But we're not far behind. To be honest, I'm actually a little nervous about going to Victoria in a couple days because just because of what's going on. I mean, I have no reason to fear that getting on a boat and going to Victoria is going to be a bad idea. But
stay in your car.
but that's the thing too, is that if you're on the upper deck, you get to stay in your car.
Yeah.
If you're on the lower deck, they want you to get out. However, that might change depending on things, mainly because it's not ventilated on the bottom deck.
But it's always a prettier trip if you go outside anyway. You just got to bring a jacket.
Agree. But overall, I mean, I've been on the ferry a couple times this year. It hasn't really fazed me. I haven't really felt unsafe about it, because the rooms are where people sit are pretty big. They're ventilated. You can go outside. You can stay in your car. But I won't lie. It is in the back of my mind of if this floats in the air for a lot longer than the other one did and is able to survive longer, or whatever the reason is for it being more transmissible, then sure, I'm a little concerned. But my parents are both triple vaccinated. My sister is had 2 different vaccines. I think she had AstraZeneca, and then she also had Pfizer. So who knows, man? I might get
Really
there, and
fine.
everyone's gonna die. But will I hang out with people under the current rules? Where we're supposed to be in small bubbles. I would say I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Alan, how do you feel safe if you saw me? And what about you, Dave? If I came and like licked your nipples, would you be fearful for your safety?
I think he probably
In that
would.
particular case, there may be questions.
You know,
Hello.
Your first response was,
All right, I think we need to end it there.
Yes. On that note, we have now reached the stage of the show where nipple licking is now a thing. But so what was in that beer? But anyway, drink beer, be healthy, stay safe, wear a mask, all that kind of fun stuff. Get vaccinated. But overall, this show is about a bunch of dudes just sitting together, drinking beer, and talking about bullshit. So there you go. You've now enjoyed that experience. Tell people about it. Lie, say it was amazing. Because we know the truth. But overall, just tell people about it. We're here to have some fun, and if you want to join in, they'll probably make it better. So there you go.
Yeah.
But and also have a great holiday. We are are we doing a show next week, boys? I don't know. What are your schedules like? It'll be like the 7th, 28th, somewhere in there. 29th?
yeah,
Sorry?
I'm down with that. Yeah, let's do
I'm
that.
totally in. I'm in.
Cool. So don't forget though, starting on Christmas Day, we will be doing the 12 days of Christmas until January 6th. Myself and this guy, Alan, will be drinking beer from the Space Case by some brewery. Phillips Brewing, thank you. And hopefully they will be providing us with some interesting beer, we hope. So yeah, it should be exciting. And Dave will be there, but he'll be dressed as a polar bear, and he'll not cease dancing for at least an hour. So there you go. Thank you all, and as always, Alan, please, for the love of God, take us out.